It's not real unless the people clap.
I can get behind that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to see you guys. Man, I love that old school music, dude.
Yeah.
That music is like someone's getting laid tonight. You know what I mean?
Goddamn right.
You're definitely not listening to that kind of music if you're single.
Let me put my jazz in you.
Yeah. You're listening to that kind of music if you got a lady. That is like, I'm getting laid music right there.
Especially with the live studio audience.
Oh, yeah.
Spoken
Yeah.
like a true set of virgins.
Yeah. No, there's something about live. Taking your girl out to some live show, they love that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But you know what really happens is they drink too much.
Every time.
Yeah. And then by the time you get them home, they're passed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But then they have to make up for it the next time.
right. Oh, is that the game you play?
That's a win-win.
Now you must spend a night in the box.
I get a night, a quiet, and you get to make
Nice.
up tomorrow? Okay.
Nice.
Sweet.
Welcome to the program, Inside BJJ. We got had a couple schedule changes, man. We were gonna have Elijah Carlton on, and then he got stuck in traffic, which is, you know, it's like Brandon. Elijah has won PGF 3 times now. He's won the season 3 times. You can't get this guy a driver. This guy has to go pick his own roommate up.
Yeah.
Why does he have a roommate?
Come on, McCaffrey.
This has got to change.
It's got to stop.
This $100,000 prize that's coming out PGF 6, I hope it changes Elijah Carlton's life.
Yeah.
Like for real.
Yeah.
So he couldn't make it, but we got a backup guest, which is really not a backup guest in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just right hot scoop right now. AJ Agazarm, the latest competitor to sign on for PGF 6.
Oh,
so
nice.
Just announced today.
just announced, yeah.
Well, when this comes out anyway.
When this comes out. Yeah. Yes, we're actually inside right now. It's like 48 hours ahead of time. That's all.
We're inside
Deep.
BJJ.
I'm deeply embedded up into PGF 6,
I
like
don't like
way
this.
up there.
I don't like that motion.
You have to make a full hand and you got to go from the bottom up.
I like that you're
if you're picturing in your
I like
eyes.
that you're at least ducking instead of just going in with a full fist.
No, I'm not. No.
You can't just start punching somebody.
You gotta
You got ease it in.
tip of the spear,
easy
my
to-
boy. Tip of the spear.
Metaphorically.
Yeah. Manja manja.
Of course.
So yeah, we'll be talking to him. He'll be calling in a little bit, so we will navigate those waters. Andrew Marhine, Omar Martinez, good to have you guys back
Hey.
again.
Thanks
Been
for
a
having me.
good strong week.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Fight to Win was
It was sick.
fantastic.
Oh,
We had a good performance, I thought.
Good team turnout.
yeah.
Very good team turnout. Nashville, we had 5 guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
We were 3-2, but we should have been 4-1.
Yeah.
For sure, we
Should
should
have
have been
sure.
4-1. My biggest, and I like Fight to Win. I like Seth. I love that crew. I think what they're doing is outstanding for jiu-jitsu. And Seth has been putting his money where his mouth is since the beginning. He's been paying guys, and that's pretty awesome to do.
That is awesome.
So no complaint about that. But man, the reffing, and I know Seth doesn't care. He doesn't want to hear it. He's like, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
If you don't want a decision, then you need to get the tap. I get it.
End it. Yeah.
However, the rule set that you wrote down on paper, I didn't write it on paper.
Right.
I don't have a guy go over the rules meeting. These aren't the rules I made up. These are the rules you made up. There's some criteria for scoring that sometimes just gets thrown right out the window. Like, I don't know what match these guys are watching.
Yeah.
One particular match where one of our guys lost, you know, not trying to talk too much shit, but man, the ref was just kind of like looked off to the side, looked at the side judge, kind of shrugged his shoulders, like give the Robert De Niro, like, and then just like, okay, we'll give it to Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, which
I mean,
that
you
sucks.
hate being that guy, right? That like, oh, we should have been 4-1.
you hate to be that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be that
No,
guy.
I mean, but
I'm that guy.
Yeah.
No, we definitely should have been for this one.
no, yeah. No,
It's
I
okay
agree.
when we do it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I lost my last Fight to Win on a split decision, which is even harder when there's 3 judges, and the main ref gives me the match, but the 2 sides give it to my opponent.
And
Yeah.
You want to find them in the parking lot.
Then I just cried, said I'm done. You know, just done.
That was it.
It's all rigged.
Yeah.
And I'm done. I'm not playing your game anymore, Elio Gracie.
Fight to win's a
I'm
psyop.
out. Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu's
So
a psyop.
we had a great night. Our wrestling coach, Tyler Sage, did fantastic.
Oh,
Excellent.
Got to see the debut of Logan
Malatek.
Malatek. What a cool last name.
What a cool ass name.
yeah.
What a cool dude.
Oh,
He's got the Johnny Depp does jujitsu vibe big
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
Just got that like nomadic dude vibe to him.
Yeah, he does.
he's like real quiet and just,
Seems nice though.
Super
he's, I
humble.
mean, he's an amazing training partner. Like,
He's
very
great.
good.
yeah.
Doesn't get mad. You could ramp it up. He'll go harder, but he doesn't get angrier.
No.
He always just matches whatever you give him, and
Right.
he just brings it out. Like you can go pretty hard with him, and he'll match it and makes it a fun roll. Like really
Yeah.
does. Yeah. There's no anger in it. There's no.
You feel some
Yeah.
people, you start getting after it and you feel that fucker turn.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's like a Walking Dead. You feel him turn. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah. It's that caveman DNA starting to come up.
Wakes the fuck up.
Yeah.
I'm alive.
Yeah.
I do that
Yeah.
with both of you.
Ornery. My favorite thing to do is when it wakes up.
Yeah.
And then you just stamp it right
Just
back
bring
out.
it.
Like, shut the fuck up.
Shut
You
the
smash him
fuck
back down. Down, white belt. Down. Smack him in the
I
nose.
feel like I get that with a lot of wrestlers.
Yeah. Oh, that's a warning, huh?
Yeah.
Is it still recording though?
It says it is.
Okay.
Limited space available.
Yeah, well, we're gonna fly on this one then, man.
Oh,
Ride
Yeah.
the lightning.
Yeah, I would just hit okay and we'll just keep banging, dude. Like it's a little too late to
Yeah,
make
never
good.
stop
Yeah, who cares?
banging.
Anyway, we had a little technical difficulty, but we got the recording going up anyway on StreamYard, so we'll just pull that if we have to. I think
Sounds
that'll
good.
be fine. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Mhm.
But yeah, fight to win, man. Everybody looked good. We went down to Decatur the next day, did a
and
seminar
early.
for Guardian Gym. That was a blast. I'm glad I had my homies there. That was
Mhm.
great support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's all we're gonna say about that. No, it was a good time though.
Yeah, I love Decatur.
Me
That's a great
too.
gym, man.
Yeah,
Those guys are
they're cool.
killers, man. Yeah, they're great guys, but man, they're so good.
Then we had open mat.
Yeah.
They're all
Opening's
game to
cool.
roll.
Yeah.
I love rolling down there, man. I love
Yeah.
it. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. McCaffrin, for hanging back and opening it up for us.
Yeah, Lindsay was there. Got to roll with the great Matt Scaff.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
He's tough. Tough
Yeah.
as nails.
Yeah, he is.
Just very relaxed. Seems to be very relaxed.
I wanted a piece of Brandon.
Yeah.
But
He wasn't there.
yeah, he was teaching a seminar in Texas.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with Carlos Machado right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have time.
Yeah.
I don't have time for the little people.
And then I'm off to
BJJ.
Vegas and then
Okay.
Kazakhstan. I don't know what to do.
Oh boy.
My itinerary is so packed.
Oh, bro, have you ever flown on an eagle? No, I haven't.
No.
Okay, I'm not that cool.
I'm not a hobbit, dude.
Yeah, sorry, man. You really should try to fly on an eagle. It really clears your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, dude. So we had a good time. Got to stop at Buc-ee's. One of my favorite things to do is to take people to Buc-ee's for the first time.
bro, it was my first time.
It's wild.
Dude.
It's like a
was amazing.
13-year-old's idea. You know what I would do?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get rich and open a big old gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like 100 pumps.
There's gonna be like 100 pumps. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you go to take a shit, the bathrooms are clean. Yeah, like every 15 minutes.
I do appreciate that.
There's like a whole wall of jerky.
There's be a beef jerky buffet. It
Yeah.
literally has a beef jerky buffet.
It was amazing. Yeah.
There's a cult of meat cutters
Oh
that
man.
every time meat gets sauced or cut, they start fucking singing.
They
or
sing a
chanting.
song.
Oh yeah.
The meat is being cut saucy on my balls, whatever the
yeah.
hell it is.
Oh yeah. They
was
break
like-
out into a full-on like pirate ship singing
a
jeer.
shanty.
It was like
Yeah,
something out of
shanty.
Disney. Like
Kind of, sorta.
like a Disneyland type of thing.
It has a
but-
little vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disney with cigarettes and alcohol
yeah.
because they got
And
plenty of
brisket.
that. Yeah, and brisket.
Really good brisket.
They have so much. You can buy like a CB radio and fudge and jerky
And socks.
and yeah, and a button-down flannel and a cowboy hat. And outside they sell like
They had smokers and
grills,
fire
all kinds of
pits.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they sell grills.
I
the
mean, who
food's
could-
great. Listen, I'll tell you what the secret food is there that's legit is their fried chicken sandwich.
Oh,
Everybody goes get the brisket.
yeah.
Nobody has tried to out here, right? It's like
No,
a West
that's a
Coast
very
cut.
that's a very California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like get the brisket. The brisket's good,
Yeah.
but the fried chicken was way better.
Oh,
I was like, damn.
I'm gonna get that next time.
They were out when we went. I specifically wanted that.
Mm.
My only
I'm happy you didn't get it.
Gee, thanks.
You're welcome.
With friends like that.
Wow, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Now that you say that, I remember you talking about how much you're looking forward to it when we left Brandon's.
Yeah.
And at 10 Decatur. And I was like, oh yeah, that's secretly I was thinking that sounds good. I might try that myself. And then you're like, I think they're out. I'm like, good. You don't get one.
Good. You'll even like suffer your own hurt.
Yeah, I won't tell anybody, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll openly say I'm glad you didn't get what you want. You just fucking suffer. You will suffer.
My only beef with Buc-ee's is that there's nowhere to sit and eat.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, your car.
I know, but they're just like, hey, get the fuck out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
If you're not getting gas, then move along.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta go.
There's some dude was like, what was he doing? Balancing and rotating his tires in the parking lot.
Oh, I know. And I think he was like changing his brake caliper.
And it took about 20 minutes and 13 employees to figure out who they were going to send as a sacrifice to go talk to him because he went postal, I guess.
And the freaking porked out cop who looks like he literally couldn't walk 100 yards, let alone run it.
No.
He just stood in the back.
How long do you think that guy would be able to grapple for?
Bro. Like
2 minutes?
He's shooting.
2
You
seconds.
think he's 2 seconds?
He's dropping dude in Alabama.
That type of dude?
Listen, we're talking Alabama. He's shooting on sight. Whoa, what was
Getting a
that?
call.
Dang. Oh, what did that come in on?
Bluetooth?
Oh wow, I didn't know I was hooked up on Bluetooth. Wild.
Ruh-roh.
I just disconnected. That was Miss Stella.
Oh.
So yeah.
Well, I thought that was AJ. Never mind.
No.
Yeah.
I was trying to. I was
That's
like,
my nick-
where is he?
That's my nickname for him.
Stella is?
What else is going on? So a few things. So we're gonna talk to AJ. Fight to Win was awesome. Decatur was fun.
That's great.
Buc-ee's is dope.
Yeah.
Pussies.
Had a great time. WNO's going on tonight. Who's number one?
Oh.
Who's number one?
Yeah, and that's kind of in progress. I'm not sure what the results are, but the card looked pretty good. I know it was being led off with Jacob Couch, right? He's a Pedigo guy. He was going against Sebastian Rodriguez. I think Kyle Chambers was on the undercard, on the preliminary card. I don't know how he did, but I'd be interested in that. Who else is on that card? Oh, Tannen Dalpro is on that card against Oliver Taza. He's the art of jiu-jitsu standout.
Oh yeah.
By the way, I follow the Mendez brothers on Instagram, and they have an account, Mendez Brothers, right?
Mhm.
And they share it. It's both brothers,
Oh.
and yeah. And it's like, you guys live together still, or no? They have their own families and kids, but they're often like cross-posting. It's very.
They have a shared account.
It is a curated account for sure. For sure. So, did your shit go down?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm re-upping it right now.
Okay. Well, I can take the wheel right now. So, yeah. So they have a curated account, and he has a picture with Tynan. They're and they're like, oh, training in the garage to get ready for who's number one, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they're doing some private training, and Hoffa's got his shirt off, and I don't know what he's putting on his burgers.
Probably some acai.
Yeah.
But
Probably just acai.
that is very high grade, high level
Acai.
Belief in the Lord.
He's got the adrenochrome hookup.
Dang.
Like he's looking, his shoulders
shredded.
look like he's doing adrenochromes, like literally repping adrenochromes.
I want some of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He looks good.
He's on
I'm
the-
like, damn.
He's on the BMAC.
I hope he comes back. I
That'd be
would
cool.
love
Yeah.
for Hoffa Mendez to come
That'd
back.
be sick.
Could you
Will he
imagine?
come back? I don't know.
I hope so.
I mean, the money's right.
There's rumors about why he retired.
Yeah.
You know, there's so I don't know if that's true or not. I don't really care. I would just like to see him come back. The guy's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, he's maybe the best. Like, I don't know, man. He's really damn good. So that would be really cool to see him on today's landscape. But Tynan is like their guy, man. He's the guy they've raised up to kind of lead the charge, and he's doing freaking fantastic. He's just like they are.
Yeah.
Like he's,
Yeah.
Same style, same approach, same success so far. Not quite as prolific yet, but I have no doubt that
What are they really known for? Like really top, like a lot of top pressure? Or?
their passing's very good. They're very They're very Toriando, leg
Oh.
drag oriented, super good at barambolos, back takes. You know, they'll play the twister hook. They're all over the map when it comes to like transitions, just really creative, interesting things. Bottom, you know, Delahiva, reverse Delahiva, Kiss of the Dragon, barambolos, all that. They
So real like
super kind of almost like some of the guys that kind of wrote the book on that. There was a time period in the 2000s where that Berimbolo game was really blowing up, and you would have matches with guys that were just like really amazing at it.
spinning up under there.
Yeah, you'd see like the Mendez brothers, Cobrinha. That weight division was like really fantastic to watch at the time. Real good battles in there.
I remember when I first started jiu-jitsu, like the Berimbolo was such like a
big deal, man.
Dude, it was like this amazing, you know, gymnastic type of thing. Like, whoa.
It still is pretty damn cool.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, I'll still hit it from time to time. I can get it.
Yeah.
Only it's in nogi, it's a little trickier to get because your grips aren't the same.
Right.
You know, you don't have the material to set it up the same way. So you don't find it as in many places, but it's still a fun game to play. So Tynan's fighting Oliver Taza. You got Dante Leon against Diego Pato. That's going to be good. Mika Galval's fighting, and then Nick Rodriguez and Victor Hugo is the main event.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think, I like who's number one, but do we know what these guys get paid?
I thought you were about to say, do we know who's number 2?
Yeah, I'm more interested in who's number 4 through 6.
I don't know how much they get paid.
I just
number ones.
think I would be a little more interested if I knew there was significant money at stake. Because these just feel like really good cards where they're like, let's get some really good guys and put them up against each other and have them fight. Maybe they're getting paid well. I could be ignorant.
Yeah,
I'm not positive. I did see that Zapatero's like another submission kind of, I don't know if they're sub only, but they're like super fight oriented, grappling promotions, been in the game for a while now. They just announced that they're going to do $100,000 grand prize tournament that's going to take place, I guess, at the end of the year. They're going to have qualifiers leading up to it, and then you get birthed into the tournament, and I guess the winner gets 100 G's, something like that. And it got me thinking, like, damn, I think what happened is I think $100,000 just got set as the price to the entry point.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to be a player in this arena now, the $100,000 mark is kind of like, this is where you got to be if you're going to try to bring it. And it's only going to go up. We're going to look back at $100,000 and it's going to seem ridiculous.
Chump change.
Yeah. I would really like to see jiu-jitsu take a model, and there could be things that are bad about it that I'm unaware of, but on the surface, I like the models that have a tour or like an open tour where you qualify and then, however it's set up, the winners move on. Maybe some people get eliminated on Friday, some people get eliminated on Saturday, champions fight on Sunday, and then you seed it. So like the top 10 guys that plays get paid, but the number 1 guy brings home the fucking bread. Yeah. And then number 2 gets some, and number 3. And then as it tails off, it's like, a
little bit less. Yeah.
What that does is if you can pull it off, it affords you to basically build a stable roster of grapplers that are making a somewhat steady income by flying to and competing in these events every month or every weekend. That's how a lot of professional tours work.
Oh, I see. That way they don't have to divide their time between like a job.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, I'm competing. If you're good enough, then you could, at least if you're placing in the top, say 10, which isn't like professional golf, you just got to be in like, I don't know, the top, I don't know what it is, maybe the top 50 get paid or something. But the top 10 guys make something. Yeah. And that way you can kind of live to keep fighting another day as long as you're competitive.
Right.
Yeah,
that would be, I mean, that would be like the main goal, right? And it seems like there's a lot of different avenues for that at the moment, that are springing up all over. So, I mean, obviously we got Brandon's
PGF.
Yeah. That just popped off, and that's that's a big prize as well. So it's gonna be great to see a lot of these big prizes coming up, really motivating some of these guys.
I think so,
to get out there, and I don't know, it could really blow up jiu-jitsu.
I think it can. I think that it can be a good developmental platform for athletes that are trying to get into MMA. It could be a good platform for athletes transitioning out of MMA.
Yeah.
And it can also be a good way for people who just want to grapple to make a living.
Right.
Now, it doesn't mean that everybody that wants it's going to make a living. Just like everyone who wants to be a professional basketball player is not making money as a professional you got to be fucking good.
Yeah.
You got to make the cut.
You
got to be good.
out there.
And that's where, there's going to be some hurt feelings because it's so amateur right now that there's a lot of amateurs that think they're pros.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of pros that aren't necessarily getting paid. So the lines are a little blurred. You're like, well, fucking Tim Freeman's fighting on the same card that this guy's fighting on. But it's like, yeah, Tim Freeman's a rank ass amateur. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying.
Fuck that dude.
It doesn't, they don't differentiate it exactly, but we're going to get there.
Yeah.
When the money shows up like that, we're going to get there.
Now you're going to have to start getting tiers,
for sure.
Levels.
I'm stoked, man.
Well, the more organizations that pop up that give out good amounts of money set the bar for what's coming later.
It definitely will.
The more stuff like that, the better, I think.
And then eventually it'll follow the process of most sports as they grow. If they manage to survive, you'll have 2 or 3 big ones, it seems, that are kind of competing. And then eventually one of them swallows the other one up. And then usually that one swallows the other one up.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
That seems to be what you see. Or 2 of them join. A lot of professional league, like the NFL and the AFL joined. Yeah. I think they had the NBA and they also had like
what was the other league?
The US Basketball Association or something like that. They had National League and American League when it was in baseball. They had multiple hockey leagues. It's very common.
But it's like The Rock bought out
the
XFL, like he bought out like a segment of jiu-jitsu.
He's like, I'm gonna own it. Well, I mean, if you were an investor,
I mean, you want to get on,
you're really looking to make that giant 10,000x return where I put in 5 million and I end up selling for 500 million, then like jiu-jitsu would be one of those markets. I think
anybody
so
that
too.
invested in WEC and then Dana bought it for UFC,
or anyone that invested in surfing, got their hooks into the surfing industry. And it's easy to go, it's a niche sport. You got to live by the ocean to do it. Like, you're never going to get that many people to follow it. It's like huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
It is huge.
It's huge. So there's definitely potential in there. And I'm stoked.
Let's make jiu-jitsu the American pastime.
Let's go, man. Let's grapple. And the more combat there is, the better. And I think we were talking about this last night. I swear we were talking about this last night, but you're starting to see the rise of the hybrid jiu-jitsu or not combat athlete.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we were talking about this.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, where you got guys that are like, you know what? I'm going to have some MMA fights. I'm going to box a little bit. I might dabble in pro wrestling. Who knows? I might do some submission grappling if the money's right and the matchup is good. Like, I'm not just a fighter guy that does one form. I'm not just a boxer. It might be more lucrative to take that route because there's a certain curiosity factor. Like, okay, maybe Connor's not like the top elite guy, but damn, we all wanted to see him box.
Right.
We're like, fuck, what are we doing? We don't know. Let's watch him box. Like, you want to see it.
It's almost one of those, like, imagine if you could get a lion and a bear to fight, kind of thing.
So, you get 2-3 boxing matches in. Maybe you're like, you kind of like, I'm not that great. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to do some bare knuckle. And then guys like Mike Perry fucking becoming the king of bare knuckle.
Dominate.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. And in a way, I think it paves the road for them to go, damn, we'd like to see Mike Perry in the UFC again. Like, wouldn't it be cool to see the bare knuckle champ fight this other guy? Like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Like, it's just, it lends itself.
Have they ever done anything where it's like let's say there's 3 fights, and so they choose like 3 different fighting styles. Like your first fight is jiu-jitsu, your second one's boxing, and the third one's MMA type of thing.
Yeah, there was a fight like that. And I believe the first round was like Muay Thai rules, and the second round was MMA rules, I think.
Like that was in one.
Yeah,
Oh, but that was
like
in
one of
one.
the title fights. But they did it by rounds, not fights, like you had mentioned.
Oh, okay.
It was by round.
Yeah, 3 rounds. One, like Tim said, it would have been. I believe you're right on that order too. I think it was Muay Thai, MMA, grappling.
I think you could set it up by fights. Like
you
have like a
yeah,
you know, like
we're gonna do like a 3-fight deal between these guys, and they're gonna do one in each
and they're
format.
gonna do one, and then they go back to camp, and then they do another one, then they go back to camp.
Imagine that. So first, let's say it's MMA, Muay Thai, and then regular Western boxing. So you have 5-minute round MMA.
Yeah,
and then you still, and then they would do it'd be cool if they did like best of 2. So
right. Whoever wins the 2.
Yeah. The next fight's Muay Thai. I don't remember what the round structure is for Muay Thai. It's several rounds.
That's a lot of rounds.
Yeah.
So all Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Elbows and knees. And then third, let's say Western boxing, you have to then go back to camp, like you said, and then get ready for a 12 round at 3 minutes or whatever. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like the decathlon of fighting.
It'd be
It'd
nuts.
be cool.
Dude, that would be cool. Imagine
then you could have the status of saying, like, if you beat that guy 3 ways,
Oh my God.
like, I beat your ass in every single.
I just swept you. You know,
You could say you 3-weighted him.
Yeah. Menage
I
a
hat
trois.
tricked your ass.
Right? Your ass. Yeah, for real.
You can't. That dude can't say shit.
Imagine if we got him to do, like, what if you got to do the cool karate and you had to do the lame karate?
Like it's a full like Kyokushin match, and then the next one's Tai Chi or something.
Yes.
Oh
sick.
wow.
Who's got better form?
Right.
You're not even fighting. You're just like doing the kata.
Right.
Who's got better kata?
And then immediately be like, okay, Wing Chun, go. And you're like, oh, fuck, I don't remember the hand movement. Like,
I could see that being a freak, sort of like what Japan did with Pride every now and then, like freak fight type of deal, or just a freak scenario where you could then later on, that itself even becomes boring. So you can have, okay, first round is MMA, second round is Muay Thai, third round is line dancing, fourth round is astronaut training, and then fifth round is MMA.
yeah.
Something.
What? Yeah. Like who is the greatest man contest?
Yeah.
And basically, we're going to test you. Like, you're going to take a written test against this dude. They're going to see who can drive better. We're going to see who's better with guns. We're going to see who's better boxing, who's better fighting.
There's a TV show that's a little bit like that.
That's what we're going to have, like a simulated sex session where we see who could lay it down better. Like who could lay the pipe
better. But it's got to be
just
another guy to make sure.
Yeah, because
they know. I mean,
right. Only a guy could really tell.
Yeah.
It'll be sponsored by Fleshlight.
I'll sponsor it.
Fleshlight.
Yeah. It'll be like an AI thing.
It'll be sponsored by Target.
I'll sponsor it.
It'll be called Who's the Greatest Man.
I'll
They'll have an
I'll
eating
ref it,
contest. They're going to have a spelling contest. They're both going to have to do taxes live on the air. Like, it's going to be very
domestic violence test.
It's like you could throw like a DV test at your opponent to try to throw them off their game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Their wife comes in and starts yelling at them.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Simulated robot wife.
Well,
Computer love. Yeah, that'd be cool. Who's the greatest man? I challenge you to who's the greatest man. You just go and lose.
Just call out people.
If you lose on who's the greatest man, that guy is better than you at that point. Like, there's no way. Because the problem is if we play basketball, then I'll go, he's lucky we're not fighting. And if we're fighting, I'll go, he's lucky we weren't shooting. And if we're shooting, I'll go, he's lucky we weren't. So it's like, no, we're gonna do all that.
Yeah.
So when you lose, we're gonna go like, you lost everything. He beat you all the way across the board.
Yeah.
In all the areas of manliness.
Yeah.
He beat you.
Suck, Gary. He got destroyed, dude.
There's a cook.
Gary, you should just kill yourself.
God, people on the street would just shame him.
Who's the greatest man?
Be like, oh, there goes Gary. Like, oh, you lost.
It's just like the greatest man is just an obnoxious asshole. He's smarter than everybody, faster than everyone. He fly fishes better.
Whoever wins gets the other guy's wife.
You have to like rebuild a carburetor. It's simulated.
I could do it.
You have to rebuild a carburetor. You have to do a bunch of stuff like that.
Start a fire.
You have to replace a hot water heater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. You have to deliver a baby
on the highway.
Yeah.
Mid traffic. Because what if?
Yeah.
High voltage electrical rewiring.
Right.
You got to know how to climb the line.
You suck, Gary.
Getting shot down there.
You have to learn how to splice.
Fuck you, Gary.
You have to learn how to splice an actual line.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Who's the greatest man?
Who would you challenge to? Who's the greatest man? Somebody that's popular right now.
Another dude?
Yeah, like a celebrity or something like that. Somebody that's well known right now. Who would you challenge that you think you could win?
I was going to challenge Matthew Perry, but he died, so I guess that's out of the question.
Yeah, he won.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
No, I won. I'm still alive. That's just a joke. He seemed like a nice guy. We weren't friends.
No.
We weren't either.
So I'm thinking, who would I challenge to who's the greatest man? Any man? Like a celebrity?
Like a celebrity.
Man. Probably. What guy do I?
I'd be pretty confident challenging almost any popular country singer because I think they're frauds.
Yeah. Any of them.
Any of them.
I would challenge
Any of the popular like new country artists right now.
I would go against any of the metal guys you listen to. You put
That's
one
fair.
up against me.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm unique in my own world. I think I'm the only dude that I know that listens to the music that I do in my small circle that knows how to fucking chop wood, operate a chainsaw.
What are you, George Washington?
Sure. I cannot tell a lie. I'm actually George Washington. You caught me.
You said sure. Sure.
Yeah.
That's how you know someone thinks you're totally full of shit.
I had nothing for that.
When they don't answer yes or no, they go,
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever you
So
say.
just-
Okay,
dismissive.
crazy person. Sure.
That's such a weird thing. Like, yeah, I used to chop wood. What are you, fucking George Washington? What? Sure.
Super Bowl's coming up.
Oh, fucking awesome.
San Francisco 49ers. My
Your
49ers.
boys. Your
are in the Super
49ers?
Bowl. Yeah. I
think you like the San Francisco.
You think they're
aspect
gonna
more than you
choke?
like the football thing.
probably they'll choke.
Oh.
I don't live and die.
None of
by-
them are dating Taylor Swift.
That is
Yeah.
true.
I don't live and die by sports teams. I'm happy they're there, but if they lose, I'm like, whatever.
When they lose.
My sister, she goes like, we did this and we did that.
Oh,
Oh,
she
she-
goes hard.
she's on the team.
oh, she's on the team.
Yeah.
She's a fucking
That's
I
sick.
go to the games.
Yeah.
We picked up this guy and we need to dump his ass. And,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
she'll go on a diatribe, dude. Like go off on some player. And I'm like, damn, Jenny, you didn't even play Little League, Jenny. Like, come on.
You didn't even
what
play
y'all need to
flag.
do is pick up the poop in the streets.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the team right now. You all live in
I
a
heard
toilet.
I heard a little conspiracy theory about the show about the Super Bowl.
Let's hear it.
And then so apparently what's going to end up happening at some point is that Travis Kelce is going to propose
Oh,
to Taylor
no.
Swift
I hope
at the
not.
50-yard line.
I'll do you one better.
No.
I'll do you one better.
Let's hear it.
If this happens, this is how you know it's rigged.
Yeah.
This was in a very esteemed conspiracy place that I go to
Hey.
every day
Okay.
before I go to bed. r//
Yeah.
conspiracy on Reddit. It's going to be 27-14 Chiefs 50-yard line proposal. If that happens,
Right.
everyth's rigged.
Yeah, if-
NFL's fake.
If
It's a
that
psyop.
happens,
What's 27-14?
that's going to be the final.
That's supposed to be the
score.
game.
Yeah.
How did you? Why is that significant?
It's the numbers themselves. I don't think are significant. It's just that is the plan.
Yeah.
So if it ends like that, the idea
I
is
think
like it's
somebody
rigged.
released a graphic that said that or something like Chiefs win 27-14.
And Sweezy gets proposed to on the 50.
Listen, the game's not that rigged.
I think it is.
Not to that point. I don't
Not to
think so.
like
Not to
final
the
scores.
no, I don't think they could be like the Chiefs are going to get 53 and the Niners going to get 21. That's really hard to rig. That's hard to rig because some of these field goals and shit these guys are doing, they could fuck up and really miss it.
That's true.
And if they're like, no, man, the score's got to be 53. You got to make it. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck, I missed it. Like, I don't think they can do that. They definitely can impact the spreads, though, where they're like, we need to make sure they get more than 4 points or make
Yeah.
sure they're within. They can probably do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think you're getting all those guys in on it. Like, let's all fuck around for Taylor Swift.
I mean,
hell no.
I don't know if you could.
No way. Those
You would
guys-
only need like a few key players in on it.
You don't need any. I think you just need the ref, a ref,
really?
potentially. I mean, these guys are so good. These athletes are so good. These teams are so well managed that if they get one or two calls that go their way, that's usually enough that they can ride the rest of the game out.
Mhm.
That's a good
A
point.
couple critical calls. Oh, that was pass interference. hey, it's no longer 4th down. They get the ball at the 10-yard line now. Now the complexion of the game's totally.
I hate the pass interference.
Oh, it's the fucking lamest call.
Oh, dude.
You should be able. There should be like 2 guys on the field that are allowed to absolutely mug anyone on the field. Like they wear orange gloves or something, and they don't have to abide by none of the rules.
Yeah.
They can spear with their heads.
They're
They
just
can
wild cards.
Wild cards. They get to do what they want.
Yeah.
Everyone else has got to like, but 2 guys, man, they are the free safeties. They're like old school. They call them the old school safeties.
Yeah.
I might watch football if that were the case.
Yeah, and they could just fucking, hey, dude, this is what's up.
Oh,
one of the only things I don't like about working at a bar is that I have to watch football.
I mean, you don't
Why do you hate football so much?
I'm not sure.
It's not hard enough.
No, I just think it's boring.
You like rugby.
I do like rugby, but I mean,
this is how I know you're full of it.
I keep up with the World Cup sort of, but I'm not like a.
Why? How could you? That would be like if I said like rugby's boring. Like I like football. I think I would like rugby. I just don't understand it.
Yeah,
it's not that hard to understand.
It's a ball. Some dudes.
I mean, it's pretty easy. Like, there's only lateral passes. If you're gonna pass it like way forward, you got to kick it.
Is that the same thing as Aussie rules football, or is that different?
Oh.
I'm not familiar with that.
Isn't there like another kind of football that's not rugby?
I have heard that name before, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've seen it played.
I think Outback Steakhouse invented that game. Aussie rules football.
I think they invented Foster's too, and the Barbie.
They invented Australia.
I don't know if they're talking about the Barbie doll or if it's like a barbecue, but they say Barbie. I think it means
Barbie.
Both.
I think it means like the barbecue.
I love their.
I always thought it was shrimp on a Barbie,
like the doll.
Like the doll.
No way.
Like she has like Princess Leia buns, but shrimp.
That's right.
That's pretty sweet.
Or you would throw a Barbie doll on the ground and throw shrimp on it. Right.
No.
You don't think so?
I think Barbie is slang for barbecue.
Oh. I just love their use of the C word. That's one of my favorite words. So whenever I hear an Australian talk, I'm like, "You're cool, dude."
Yeah.
You're cool, bro.
You ever watch like Gaelic football?
Yes, I have watched that.
Fuck is Gaelic football?
Irish football, where they actually like beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, and you have to take. It's almost like ultimate frisbee. I think you take like 3 steps, and then you have to like dribble it off of your foot.
It's something akin to that. Yeah. It's close to that.
Oh,
I'm not gonna pretend I know the rules to it. I don't, but I have seen it played. And it's not in person. I've
it's
seen it on
sick.
YouTube, but it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's raw.
In rugby, can you run and kick the ball through the things?
Through the time,
Yeah.
the goalpost.
Yeah, is that rugby or is that Aussie rules?
no, that's rugby.
Yeah,
you can kick through the goalpost.
Well, there's another thing called Aussie rules football. It's slightly different. And then there's Canadian football, and that's slightly different.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I think Canadian football, their field is bigger.
Oh,
which is odd, but
yeah,
they have more land up there.
like the football is not big enough.
Yeah,
like that field's giant.
Yeah, 100 yards is quite a bit.
That's far enough.
Yeah,
it's enough space.
I don't think you need more.
God, you don't. Yeah, let's have less players on the field.
Yeah,
I think it would be fun to have a football game where the person with the ball is getting sniped at on 100-foot field.
Yeah,
and the shooter is 350 yards away.
Okay,
live ammo.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
That way you can ensure there's new players every year.
Serpentine.
Yeah. Serpentine. Hope for the
I'm
best.
a sponsored shooter.
You imagine the DraftKings under-overs on that?
Yeah.
They would do it.
Some apocalypto stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I personally think that if jiu-jitsu gets to a point, I mean, hopefully with what Brandon's doing, if
Super Bowl style,
dude, if DraftKings gets involved, any of those companies get involved,
man, that'd be great.
Oh yeah.
Because how many? I know several people, especially now being down at the bar, just people coming in and talking about it, that they don't even pay attention. Like we were talking about football, they make their living on football,
right?
And they don't even care about it. They don't watch it. They're not invested at any.
It's all
degree,
the spreads
other than the money,
bets
spreads and bets. Yeah,
the games.
Yeah, they just look at the numbers.
Making like $10,000 a month on their phone just betting.
And that'd be crazy.
It's crazy.
Betting on like EBI.
Yeah, but for every guy like that, there's like a bunch of dudes that are broke.
1 million people with a problem.
Hey, looks like AJ just
joined
in. We'll jump over to him in just a second. Can you see if you could? Can you send him a private chat? Will that work?
So,
Andrew, I want to just let him know we'll be in a second. I think he can hear us, but I'm not positive. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the I don't know how you get into that. Like, how do you realize you're no good at that? You have to go broke. Like gambling,
basically,
you know, you got to like
I mean,
totally lose your ass, and then you're like, oh, okay.
I mean, even then, you see these guys lose their the shirt off their back and they're still in it. They're still trying to make it.
That's true.
Those are some horrible stories.
All right. Let's jump over to AJ. He just dialed in, and we haven't had a dude in a while in here, so let's try to make this work. Hey AJ, can you hear us on Inside BJJ?
Inside BJJ, here we go.
What's going on, man? How are you?
All good here. How you guys doing?
Doing very well.
Thank you.
It's been a while since we've had you on. We've had you on a couple times, and to be honest, both times we had you on, we got you in arguments with other people. One, yeah, you're like, that's not the AJ I know.
Yeah.
Once was with Jake Shields, and then the other time was with Wagner Rocha, and yeah, both times ended up not being, it wasn't handled very gentlemanly when you guys met up in person.
Those were probably two of the biggest matches, I think, in not just my career, but in like terms of professional grappling matches that, was seen on in more recent years. We've seen that shift where it's more of like in the entertainment value. The problem is there are a lot of there aren't any. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Have you guys seen any exciting matches like those since
well, I think what you're trying to say, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not only are the matches not all exciting, there's just no story to it, and without the story, we got to be compelled to watch fights where people are punching each other in the face. We still need a story for that. What makes grappling dudes think that we just want to watch the beautiful art of grappling? Like, we want to see two dudes have beef. We want to see them get into it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, maybe they make friends. Maybe they drag it out for another show. Like, this is the game we're playing. This is entertainment. Like, that's how you get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I watched that match with, I saw Polaris reposted that match, and I saw the end of it. And, at the end of it, you just seen me kind of like step in between the commentator, the announcer, and Jake Shields, as kind of like just kind of snuffing him and saying, I'm done with you, man. I gave him an opportunity to shake my hand, and he didn't take it. And, that kind of went against my code. So, that's, you see me snub him in the post-match interview, which, by the way, he's a masterful liar. He's just like, I watched the post-match interview of him just going on, and like he was talking about me eye gouging him, and I was like, there was no eye gouging that took place. I'm like, if anything, you were the dirty fighter.
Why is that?
He was just headbutting, hard collar ties, clubbing, all his attempts to try to slap me. So, but you know what, that kind of that relationship, I think for it being a heated match, which, to my knowledge, you haven't seen any other match like that besides the one with that twisted Brazilian.
You talking about Wagner?
Oh my God, I can't believe that. That match made his entire career.
You're talking about the fight to win where he kicked you off the stage
for writing him a poem.
Yeah, you read the poem on this podcast. It was this
so far under his skin with the poem that within the first 10 seconds of the match, he wanted to throw a kick when my back is turned. Face me like a man. No, he's a typical scumbag Brazilian that just wants to do everything behind your back.
How much of what you say is really coming from you versus it's maybe a version of you, but it's dialed up to promote whatever it is you're promoting?
Yeah, I don't see it as promoting and marketing and like playing this guy or this, that, and the other. Like, I mean, we're in a grappling match. It's like, this isn't my opportunity to make friends. Like, I thrive on making enemies in grappling matches because I want you in a ball biting rage going, doing everything you can to come after me. And you're like, oh, let's throw up the shaka, bro. Yeah, all cool, man. No, this is a professional grappling bout. Imagine if it were a fight. Like,
I mean, I'm not a personal fan of fighters being overly friendly, during a match, like every round bumping fist and smiling and hugging at the end of each round. I mean,
there are like a few guys that have like really elite jujitsu, myself being at the top of that, where I can go in like several exchanges and like that be cool. That would be really like, okay, you go through it. You saw it with me and Manoa Man. You saw it with me and Daniel Strauss. You saw it with me and Oliver Geddes. Like, that's where that back and forth is fun to watch. But you're right. That's so niche down to a small audience. Like, I want to know I choked out Jake Shields in the blue basement before we even had that match. He didn't even remember that. That's how stupid he is. And then like he took advantage of a restart that the referee, I had a front headlock that was like, the climax of that match was just like the accumulation of everything that happened before and after. I'm sorry, before all of the match even took place, and even like, kind of getting under her skin in the press conference, like it was for that position. And then when the referee reset us on our feet, because he knew he was in deep water, he didn't want to accept that position that I put him in when I was in the front end. Like that's game over for me. And so I think that there's clearly a storyline. There was clearly a storyline with that rat Brazilian, which I can't believe. Speaking of scumbags, I don't even. I'm not even gonna make names. I had From Fight to Win tell me personally, because of that, he was no longer going to put Wagner on a single show from there on out. The match was. He overturned the decision. It was a win for me. He's never going to have Wagner back on the show. Guess who had Wagner back on like 10 shows?
Yeah, Fight to Win did, man.
Yeah. Now we're red carpeting this guy's career for a ridiculous act of just cowardice. At least do something when I'm facing you face to face.
Do you think that happening is why it was so widely watched? And how do you respond?
Nobody's seen anything like it in a grappling match to begin with. Like what? I got so far under that skin. He's such a mental midget, and he's so like just weak that
AJ's very opinionated about the guys that he fights.
I mean, dude, like, I've written poems for guys like that, take it on the chin and they engage back in the banner, and they go, they try to make it interesting for the crowds. But like those two, like I think I'm being a little hard on Jake. He wasn't as it's Jake. He's got, he doesn't have really that high of an IQ. So
what's your
nice guy though?
What's your take on PGF 6? Obviously,
that's a hard shift, man. We just went from talking about these.
Well, and here's why we're taking the shift, man. Listen, you tend to bring controversy, and you tend to find it finds you or you find it. However that takes place.
Well, don't look for my approval. Don't look for my approval. You won't find it. Like these guys are like, they're expecting me to like rule out like this one match. I just saw this guy giving a bowl of acai to his opponent. I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't care about you.
So you come in
having a grappling match with you. And I think since then there's been like, that bad boy persona that has kind of been more prominent. Like you saw it with, dude, nobody cut a better promo than me for that Geo match. You want to talk about promos and marketing? Think about that match that happened after Kasai when I went against a guy that was 30 pounds heavier than me in Gilbert Burns. Oh yeah, Gilbert Burns, one of the, a title contender for the UFC, right? And we were exchanging, takedowns and all kinds of position in the match. And at the end of the match, I rattled off like a 20-minute promo for a match against Gio Martinez that didn't get picked up. And you know what they did to slap me in the face? They give it to Mikey Musumeci, the biggest dork in grappling. I mean, he's just like the epitome of what you shouldn't like. It's just, I mean, the dude, he's over here doing all these cherry picking his grappling matches in one, going against retired MMA fighters and claiming that he's the best. Like, dude, like his style is so far away from what it should be for self-defense and what jiu-jitsu should represent in MMA. That's why he won't take an MMA fight fee. So not only did he robbed me of my match with Gio, which I think that was probably the biggest, the biggest stakes were on that match. I told him that I would leave jiu-jitsu forever if he won. And then if I won, that he would have to renounce Eddie Bravo forever. And that match never happened.
I would what a great match.
I told him I would leave jiu-jitsu forever.
What were you planning on doing? Like just no grappling? That's it. You're done.
What do you mean plan on doing? I was planning on destroying him in front of everyone. What kind of question is that? You think I was contemplating the alternative? No. It was a sealed deal. That's why they didn't give me the match. They gave it to Mikey. And then Mikey's looking at the TV like, what? I can't see. Oh, let me eat pasta and pizza. Like, this is the personality that we're going with here. Put that guy in an MMA fight. Let's see how good his jiu-jitsu is. No, you don't do it. Jake fought MMA. He holds his own. I think that and that's been kind of like the introspection for me the last, several years. Like I was saying about the bad boy persona, is just like, it's, I was just genuinely like frustrated with everybody that I was working with. Like, I'm like, you guys, this is it. This is what we're playing with. Like,
what were you
now look at it. Now we have a field of chemical monstrosities tattooed and hair dyed all the way up to, like, that's our image of what jiu-jitsu is.
What were you wanting those guys to do, like back in that day? Because I to a point, I do agree with you. There was a lack of just general showmanship that kind of lacked and made it really hard. If you look back at the history of just submission grappling events in general, you would see a promoter be one and done, maybe two if they were lucky. Like, nobody could get it.
So many of them. It's like, remember when we tried to get as much money as we can from Bearcoot, but that was the same thing. They just tried to put on all these high level matches. It's just like, okay, that was cool, but like, what was the point of this?
And I kind of feel like that still goes on a little bit today with these matches where you're like, okay, these guys are great, but there's literally no build up. There's no connection. There's no reasoning. They just got these two guys and they agreed to fight on the same night. So they're going to do it.
And that was what I was carving out by, is there another match besides Jake Shields that you can look back and you could say, yeah, I think that there was. I mean, you could go back in terms and say the Valid and Gracie rivalry.
Well, I mean, in terms of like really wanting to see guys really fight, yeah, I mean, that was a big one. I think if you're talking right now, a lot of guys wanted to see Gordon and Andre. A lot of guys wanted to see Gordon and Nick Rodriguez. Like, I think those were guys, again, where it feels like there's
that was after the fact, right?
Yeah.
He's just cutting. He's cutting from, he's just ripping off. He's just taking pages out of my book. That little.
I think you had Hoyler and Eddie. A lot of people wanted to see that. That was a classic kind of match where, like, you felt like these guys might have some real blood on the line.
And I think, there's blood on the line with a lot of these jiu-jitsu guys, but they're all cowards. And, Gordon being like pretty much, that number one coward. Like, he doesn't want to fight MMA and he wants to call himself the greatest of all time in jiu-jitsu. I'm like, you don't do jiu-jitsu, dude. You do grappling. And there has been, I mean, look at Marcelo Garcia, look at Rocha Gracie. Like, those guys have put an astounding ADCC career on top of their gi career. So you want to talk about greatest of all time? You're over here playing in the playground and not even fighting. You're not even putting it on the gi and doing gi matches. And you want to call yourself the greatest of all time, and then like tell everybody, try to convince everybody that you are, because you're all insecure and don't want to step in. You remember the one time I watched this kid do hip escapes right in front of me in the blue basement. And, you know, you mean to tell me that, he's not afraid of the gi? I saw him get choked by Tommy Longecker when they were, I think, either white belts or blue belts. I don't remember what belt they were, but it was very early. And like that detoured him from wanting to go there. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to inject myself with a bunch of steroids and stick to this no-gi grappling because Mr. John Donaher gets given me the systematic approach to, leg entanglement.
What do you
These leg entanglements in MMA? Look what's going to happen. Oh wait, Gary Tonin already has showed us what's going to happen when we do that. Got his head spiked on the canvas. Like go in an MMA fight with a tweaker in the dirty parts of Los Angeles. They're gonna drop kick you in the face.
You're gonna need a hepatitis shot when you're done.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of like, it's frustrating to me because you have all these guys, taking pages out of my book, trying to do things, and they're coming up like, when I started Flow, the idea was let's create Super Bowls and superstars within the sport, highlight the big events, kind of bring out the personalities of some of these guys. And I think Flow did a good job with bringing that out with Nicky Rod. And I just think that they got a little too far, swinging from the nuts of Gordon and not really kind of keeping it honest and keeping, staying true to the audience, staying true to the roots of jiu-jitsu, which the reality of combat does that, right? They saw it as a cash grab. They saw it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, let's get as much money as we can out of this guy. He's our cash cow. He's going to drive numbers. Well, he's ruining the idea of what jiu-jitsu is. And that's like, for me, bad boy persona aside, that's what really grinds my gears, is like seeing something that I work so hard to do and work so hard to, like, even personally, like, craft. I came from a wrestling background. I wrestled in high school and college. I didn't wrestle in the Olympics and I didn't win a national title, but that was a really big part of my pedigree. And to get into jiu-jitsu and to shape, to reshape my approach to matches in the gi was so frustrating. I was getting choked out. I was getting loop choked, guillotine choked, all kinds of I hated the gi at first. And, I got very fortunate because I had a professor that stuck with me and pulled me through it. And, I since then developed such an appreciation for the gi. And now we have guys running around that are getting their black belts and never putting the gi on. Like, what the hell did I work all that for? What did I do all that for? Just so that you guys can now claim to be a black belt and never putting the gi on, have no reality of combat, and you're telling me that you're the greatest of all time, taking pages out of my book? Like, what?
I mean,
sorry, that was a rant.
No, man. This is what it sounds like to me. This is what. Let me see if I could encapsulate it. You tell me if I'm close. Number one, you're not a fan of guys that call themselves jiu-jitsu fighters or martial artists that aren't.
Or even the ones that the promoters are trying to put them on a pedestal, like what they're doing with Mikey. I'm like, I see through him so easily.
Is that because you feel like he hasn't paid the right dues, or he's not doing the whole game? He's just like a particular, like.
It's funny because like him and Gordon are the same. Like Gordon never wants to put on the gi, and Mikey never wants to put on go into the ADC. He declined 3 ADC invites, and neither one of them want to fight MMA. And we're over here putting both of them on a pedestal in their respective promotions.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ascribe to that. Like, that's, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 20 years, and now I don't even want to watch them. It's like, you mean to tell me that this, like, I'd rather go take my girlfriend putt golf. Like,
those are strong words coming from someone today, to be honest, because most people that are watching regardless of how I feel about it, they're fans of either both of those guys or at least one of those guys.
Yeah,
right?
and it's sad. It's just like that's what I say. Like I'm like, it's sad. It's like this is what people think jujitsu is. Like that's not. Like look at guys like guys that have fought in the UFC that have represented that flag.
What is jujitsu?
Damian Maya,
Damian Maya, okay.
Jacare, Hodger Gracie, Andre Galvon has even had MMA fights. Romulo Bahal has had MMA fights. So has Shanji Ribeiro, Saulo Ribeiro. Like we're talking Renzo Gracie. Like those I stand on the shoulders of giants. I've said this before, and I'm like, we're over here giving these guys shortcuts and like dressing up a pig, like for what?
I mean,
views, for
I
clickbait.
think
Their storylines are lame as hell anyway.
But yeah, dude, they are because, and I'll tell you why. It's not just the athletes. At least in Gordon's case, he is successful enough that he can kind of get away with saying what he wants to say. But Mikey is a very
he's a con artist.
Mikey's a very safe for a promoter. He's not going to get crazy. He's not going to curse and say crazy shit.
Nobody's going to want to watch him, tune in to watch him fight.
Well, I kind of agree with you as well, but I think that maybe still hasn't been sorted out. On the side of Gordon, whether you love Gordon or hate Gordon, and there's a lot of people that hate Gordon Ryan. Gordon brings money and he brings eyeballs to jiu-jitsu.
No, Gordon did not bring money. I brought the money. I created Flograppling, which pedestaled him.
You created, how did you create Flograppling?
From the ground, from scratch. Does he not know this? Who said that? Tim?
Yes. Tell me this.
Do either of you guys know the story?
No, I want to hear it. Tell me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as you know, Flow Wrestling, very big vertical in the flow sports,
of course. Yeah.
Concept. And I had followed Flow Wrestling. Flow Wrestling at the time for me was actually a recruiting tool, when it was first starting out. Like we could upload videos and send those to recruiters or send those to, like coaches could come and watch our matches or some things like that. So I had followed Flow Wrestling and watched them in the van going to NCAA, NCAA when ESPN didn't allow them to even go in the venue, and just been, following wrestling throughout my entire wrestling career, high school and college. And, at the time when I was in jiu-jitsu, there was Budo videos. I don't know if any of you guys remember that.
Budo Jake and all those.
Yeah, whatever happened to him? Right? Oh my God, what happened to Budo Jake? You think he just disappeared out of nowhere? Like Flow.
Oh yeah, they came in and signed the big deal with IBJJF, right?
Yeah, I did that deal.
Oh, you're the guy that did this. So you happened to Budo Jake. You're the guy.
Yeah, and I feel bad because I asked Jake if he wanted to get a part of it. So what happened was that I had this idea to say, because what Flow was doing that I thought was really cool is that they were like I said, their motto is create storylines, create Super Bowls and superstars within the sport, create all these storylines. And Budo wasn't really exactly doing that. He was covering the events, like doing like pay-per-views, but he wasn't like there was no subscription. So it wasn't like an archive you could go and watch. You could buy DVDs at the time. And I think this was like early 2010, after 2010, which I guess people are still kind of doing DVDs, but that was kind of on its way out. But what Flow was doing with the documentaries and all that, I had just pitched it to Mark Bader at a Beat the Streets event, at a gala and a Beat the Streets event in New York City. I think like 2013 or 14 or whatever it was.
That's a wrestling event, right? For people that don't.
Yeah. Badass wrestling event that they would get guys from all over right there in the middle of Times Square wrestling out there on the streets of New York City, Times Square.
Cool.
And I had bumped into Mark Bader, which I'd obviously followed throughout my whole wrestling career. And I was like, hey man, I'm like, you ever thought about doing this with jiu-jitsu? And he said, no. And then I got a text from Martin Floriani, a while after, who's, him and his brother, Mark Floriani, are the founders of Flow Sports. While I was in Columbus, Ohio, saying, hey man, this is Martin Floriani. CEO of Flow Wrestling, Flow Sports, give me a call when you can. And he had flown me out to the Austin headquarters. And this was back when they were on Cesar Chavez. I know they just recently moved their headquarters, but
downtown now. Yeah.
Dude, I was on the next flight to Austin and just mapped it all out. And I shared with him all my ideas. I had all the contacts and everything. And I even sat with the programmers and was doing coding with them for the, I don't even remember this, but this was one of the biggest hurdles that Jake was even having. I remember it because it was part of a lot of his, the production side of things, being whether it was Rolled Up or This Week in BJJ, all those other,
yeah, I remember that shit.
Right. He was cool. One thing I think I look back on, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Jake was actually the glue for this. And he's the one that kept it kind of like
him and like Caleb from the Fightworks podcast. Those guys worked together real closely, it seemed like.
Yeah, Jake was great. I just, it just, everything was just moving faster. And he was, he's an, orthodox, just old fashioned guy. And respects to him, because I think, he paved the, he's the one that brought that all in terms of like, the front end. He was the guy that was spearheading all of that.
Yeah, because before that, you had to buy DVDs if you wanted to watch the events.
Right.
You had to get and they didn't come out soon. Like Worlds took for fucking ever for the tapes to come out and shit. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and then, the PIP, the picture in picture that we would try to get as a graphic, we could get it so where you could follow along and you're watching and it would give you a score. But, I don't know if you ever watched a grappling match or a jiu-jitsu match, specifically an IBJJF match. Like, a lot of these matches are not decided by points. They're decided by advantages.
Yeah.
So I actually wrote the code for the PIP to give the graphic of the new advantages that you see. So when you watch and you could see that, okay, this guy actually has an advantage. That didn't exist in 2013. And we were trying to get it. We were using the old wrestling graphic from the Flow Wrestling's page for it. And so it was just kind of decode everything for the coding team and sitting with them and writing everything out and mapping out all the promoters and building the team. I hired Howell. I didn't want Howell at first, and he knows I didn't want him at first, but I actually wanted Andre from BJJ Heroes.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you know him, but he's like Oracle in terms of like jiu-jitsu data.
Andre Borges, I think is his name. Yeah.
He knows so much, and he's gotten BJJ Heroes, so fine-tuned, and it's just a wonderful site. And, as an editor for Flow Grappling that we were looking for, that was my first site, was locking down Andre. But, he had a different vision for his life, because, he was one of the few that I really respect in terms of like not doing it for the money. He just did it for the love. And, I tried to recruit him really heavily. I even flew to the UK, took him to lunch, sat down with him, gave him the vision and everything. And, he didn't get it. So we gave it to Hal, and, the marketing team, the content team, everybody around that I spearheaded that entire thing. So in terms of conceptualizing it, even dropping the name Flow Grappling, I came up with that. The color scheme at first was the hunter green, which was to complement the Flow Grappling's lime green. So I could, they first wanted to call it Flow BJJ, and I was like, or Flow Jitsu, and I was like, no, that's kind of lame.
That's terrible.
I like the ING because it was like a little bit of like there was a rhythm to it.
Yeah. AJ, I didn't know you were that involved in it, man.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
I never hear anyone talk about. To be honest, I've never heard that story. Have you told that before? I'm sure you have. I just haven't heard it.
I don't think I have, actually. I mean, I've said it to
motherfucker. You're like, I was writing the code for it. I hired
a couple of friends, which, I mean, I don't know. You guys are in the end, so I feel like the inside guys know, no pun intended.
No, but I had never heard that, man. I do remember when Budo Videos went away as the premier provider, and now
Jit even said to me, and I kick myself to this day. He said, "It's like, I'll sell you the contract that we have with IBJJF, and I should have, like, you know, because why you don't see it, you know, there are some, you know, I've reshared old videos of me announcing the flow grappling and doing all that stuff. And, you know, the Polaris guys knew it because that was one of the very first events that I had put on the live, that I put on the, put behind, on the page. What's his name from ADCC? What's the head referee's name? Shoot, I forget. I'm drawing a blank. I know his name. He's an awesome guy. Anyway, they were actually even skeptical of it. ADCC was skeptical of flow grappling at first. I had to like try to do some convincing for them, and then I finally got the rights to doing their trials in Florida. It was the same event that I was competing in, but my idea was, you know, I wanted to just make a living doing jiu-jitsu because I loved it so much. And I saw these guys in flow wrestling doing it, and I thought we could maybe do it a little bit better, because wrestling and jiu-jitsu weren't really, you know, they're similar, but not at all the same. And the idea was, from what my motive was to just get people being able to do jiu-jitsu for a living. And that we have that today. And that I feel good about that, because that was my intention. And yeah, you know, had some, some, you know, internal, you know, I don't know what you call it, some internal conflicts with some of the guys. But, you know, now look at, I mean, you look at, that's what I'm saying about, like, what we're talking about with, like, the promotions, the narratives, like, those guys don't know what they're doing now. You know, we gotta, you know, that this guy, I feel bad for a lot of these guys, because, like, you know, they don't know what they're doing.
Let's talk about PGF.
We should say that, right?
Let's go. Talking about guys that don't know what they're doing and guys that do know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I want to talk about season 6. It's coming up in April. You've just been announced as one of the new competitors for the
Peter is the name. Yeah, you're right.
Peter. Okay, yeah, the head rep for ADCC.
Yeah. Awesome guy. He kind of was giving me shit for the whole ADCC where's my 2 thing, but anybody who watches that match can say that that was clearly 2. And, you know, if anything, it promotes the idea of, hey, let's move to video assist review like every other sport in the world has. And when we're talking a game of inches and a game of, like, literally like inches, we're reviewing tennis balls threading the line with a thread. We're watching a toe, toe in, and do one hand catch to see if that's a touchdown. And I can't see if that's a takedown, or revisit and look and see if both of those hooks are in. Like, I feel like we got to get there. Mo's doing a great job. I mean, dude just brought in the freaking T-Mobile Arena, for God's sake. I think what PF is doing and this idea of the team aspect is really exciting. There is some narrative there. There are some storylines that can easily be drawn on, especially with an elite group of coaches. That, I mean, dude's got Andre Galvon, Hodger Gracie, Eddie Bravo. I don't know what Jeff Glover's doing in there. I guess that's just for the white trash humor.
What if you get drafted by Jeff Glover and you're on his team? How's that?
I hope not, because if I know Jeff like I know Jeff, I think he's going to have, and I'll be honest with you, there's, you know, loyalty to me is really important. It goes into my moral code, and, you know, being loyal and you know, upholding that's really important. And you know that it's the biggest sin when you feel betrayal. And you know, I have felt that recently, which is why I wanted to do this event.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Betrayal by who?
Yeah, I was kind of torn, just because, like, I'm torn with this idea of, like, hey, do I just roll out the same playbook that I rolled out for Jake Shields and that Shiesty Brazilian that got them in such a ball biting rage that they wanted to actually fight me in a match? Or do I, do I seek retribution, or do I, I seek forgiveness for his, blatant betrayal, like snake in the grass betrayal? I couldn't believe it. This, and I'm talking about somebody that I've been friends with and personally have helped. We have done like a long, have a long history together. And, I'll be honest with you guys here today. Like I personally, I'm torn between retribution or forgiveness with this case. And I haven't decided what I want to do. I just think, like, this guy knows what he did. He's a backstabber, and he betrayed me. And, yeah, that's why I want to do this tournament.
How do you draw that line? Because it's a very fine line between being able to forgive somebody and going, no, I got to get mine back. And do you vacillate between both opinions? Are you not like solidified in your decision yet?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Given the history, I think, there's also, like, if I'm going to forgive this guy, is that going to lead? Is that going to, does that mean I'm going to start forgiving all these other guys?
But you don't want to do that.
Open up the door for,
AJ's forgiveness train.
Yeah. What? Like, don't betray me. Don't betray me.
Are you saying that somebody on who is signed to be on PGF has betrayed you?
Yeah.
Season 6.
Yeah. Is
this, not all the athletes have been announced. Is this a competitor?
Athlete or a coach?
No, it's an athlete. It's an athlete, which is like why I want to do this. Why? Yeah, it's 100% do this.
Okay, so there's somebody.
Yeah, I want to confront this betrayal, whether that's forgiveness or retribution. Something's gonna, it's gonna come to a head for sure.
That would also imply that you guys might have a chance to be on the same team as well.
Yeah,
you have to deal with that whole week together.
Yeah, you deal with me for a week. Let's see how that goes. I'll have this kid run in circles, psycho, and we'll see.
AJ be fucking writing poems. And then I wrote another thing about you.
I'm with that.
I saw this guy's true colors, and if you're fooling everybody with your your Instagram posts and this, that, and the other, but like, hey man, I don't forget.
What does that mean, though? What is retribution to AJ Agazarm?
I think in this case, it's revealing your these hidden colors, revealing exposing this snake in the grass.
Exposure.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
The jig is up, man. The jig is up.
Not necessarily retribution with physical pain or punishment.
Maybe,
Depends.
What would you do if one of your best friends betrayed you and stabbed you in the back? You slap him in the face?
I might.
You might, right? Would you kick him in the back when he's not looking?
No.
Yeah, that's a scumbag move. Only scumbags do that. But I would definitely, confront. You're not a scumbag.
Holy fuck!
But I definitely want to confront it, which is why I'm doing this.
That's so you're not doing it for the money. You're doing it for the retribution.
I gotta get paid for my time. Which, like, but by the way, like, I've helped this kid so much, and I've dealt with scumbag promoters lowballing him, and same scumbag promoters that are doing these shows. And which, by the way, like, Brandon is, I can tell his passion. I can tell his understanding and grasp of what he actually, he's on the brink of something really big, and he understands it. Because he's not approaching me like every other scumbag promoter that I've dealt with for myself and for other athletes, including this athlete that has stabbed me in the back. Right? He's like saying, hey, no, man, I know you got to get paid. You got to be, I got to be worth your time. I'm going to go there and I'm going to do 12 matches for nothing. Like, yeah, it's first off, it's going to take me away from teaching my students, which they're going to be pissed about. I also like the only you know, commodity that I have as an athlete is my body. So I'm over there putting my body in line. I'm not, you know, I got ADCCs this year. This is going to be my 5th ADCC, and you know, might be my, you know, might be the one that gets me the gold. So I got to be in tip top shape. You know, risking it for the biscuit is all good and gravy, but like, you know, I felt that Brandon was, you know, he cares about his guys and he cares about what he's doing, and that's rare. Unfortunately, that's rare in what we're doing with now, because the guys that have taken over don't care. And they only, not only do they not care, they only care about themselves. They only care about the money in their pockets. They don't care about the athletes. That's what I cared about when I did this with Flow. That's why I wanted it. I wanted, well, you know why Flow came about? Because of Halleck. What happened with Halleck? Halleck didn't see me. So I exposed him. And I ridiculed his entire existence and showed everyone that he was running a Ponzi scheme, going from one event to the next, not paying the debts of the previous, and then having the audacity to ask me after not have paying me to do an Instagram takeover for his Instagram account, showcasing, hey, you know, everything's cool and gravy. No, everything's not cool and gravy. You still haven't paid me. You have not only paid me, you have paid a dozen other athletes, and you're over here doing another show.
How much does he owe you?
It's stupid money. Like, not even like chump change. Like, you know, that's besides,
I have a Metamora shirt on right now. Let me ask you this question though.
You should burn it.
I mean, listen. I get the way people feel about Metamoris, especially the guys that didn't get paid. But as somebody who was,
he was in over his head. He
was, but look, he did something that nobody else.
Yeah, he had a good vision, but he just played off it was just the same playbook that Richie did with the UFC. It's not, I mean, the Gracie family knows that, right? But also, like, dude, you're gonna get all these high level, VIP matches and then not pay guys. Like, no, dude, no. I worked too damn hard for this. I had, at that time that he didn't pay me for the Carl Parisian match, I had Polaris pay me in full, pay me bonus, and pay all of my expenses to go do the match with Daniel Strauss. And I'm over here arguing about, you know, chump change with Halleck Gracie because nobody wanted to say, you know, nobody wanted to expose him because he was a Gracie. That's what I'm saying.
I actually I don't know if that's, I mean, a lot of people
weren't getting paid.
A lot of people talked a lot of shit about him too. Like, I don't think he was let off the hook. Yeah. It doesn't seem like he has been. Like, people, anytime his name comes up, people are like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I mean, look, I personally don't have any bad feelings towards Halleck.
I know you don't, because you weren't an athlete that was competing and not getting paid.
Absolutely. And at the same time, I don't think that he's the worst person in the world.
No, he's a brilliant person. He's just another scumbag Brazilian.
He owes people money.
And that's the problem, is that you can't trust them. You can't trust them to turn your back. They're going to kick you. You can't trust them. They're going to stab you in the back and betray you. You can't trust them to literally say to him, hey man, you have a reputation of not paying your athletes, and him saying blatantly to my face, no worry, I'm going to pay you. And then not paying me. And then 6 months down the road telling me that, hey, I need you to do something, do a favor for me. Yeah. Hey, I need you to do a favor for me too. Go to the bank and pay me.
Get my money. I mean, so look, we've gone, let's just say this, dude.
I don't think that Brandon has that. I think Brandon,
not at all.
And it has the desire and the love for it so much that he's willing to craft this PGF into something that's, it seems promising. I'll be honest. I've seen a lot of shows come and go. I've seen the movie many times, been a part of it on the front end, the back end.
Yes, I agree with you, man. And I think that we've come a long way.
Yeah,
the technology's there, the audience is ready, the athletes are ready. Like, things are lining up in a much better way than what they have in the past.
Yeah.
And my hope and my goal, and I want to help Brandon as much as I can. Whatever I can do to help this be a success, I want to see this thing succeed, because
that's what I felt. That's what I
Good
felt
for
too.
jiu-jitsu, man. This is good for everybody. Like,
Yep.
I love that he's putting it on like this and he's doing it. And I also love that you're a part of it. And I love that you have some tension coming into it. Because for me, look, I love jujitsu. I train jujitsu. I have 2 academies. I love to teach. Been doing it for a long time. It's fucking great. But I'm also a fan of jujitsu. Like I like to watch it.
Real jujitsu, not butt scooting. Like, let's.
And I'm a fan of pro wrestling. I'm a fan of fighting. I like promotions. I think that's how you do it. That's how I want to watch it. And so I want AJ Agazarm in an event that I'm watching. I want to see you on the card. I want to see you get out there and get after it, because I know that regardless of what happens, you're gonna fucking get after it and you're gonna say what you really think.
Yeah, and then
That's hard to fucking find. Whether I agree with you or not, it's just hard to find people that will actually say, like, yo, this is how I feel about this.
Yeah, that you're not wrong, and I appreciate that. I just think that, you know, it's tough, man. It's really tough because you know, I definitely I believe in the power of my convictions, and I stand by what I say, and I have my moral code, and I know what, you know, makes me me, and what I believe in, what's, you know, what it should look like. But there are a lot of cowards out there,
I mean, there's
and
a lot of people who are afraid to say what they think out of fear of losing a perceived thing that they have or a perceived opportunity that they think they have.
yeah, for sure. You know, they're scared of these, you know, but I'm going to clear something up as well. Is there's just, you know, people are like, oh yeah, AJ's all talk, all talk, all talk. No, I'm not all talk. I'm talk and walk. Because I have put it on the line more times than any of you can even count, and probably double or triple your actual resume. Yeah, I've lost some here and there, and, you know, advantages and referees' decisions and baloney, this, that, and the other, but ain't nobody that's putting it, you know, on the line like I'm putting it on the line. And 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 all forms, ADCC, gi, no gi, MMA, like it's all there.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's 100% natural.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't agree with everything you say, but I'm
What
not.
what did you not agree with today? Like what?
Well, I mean, listen,
Go ahead.
dude, listen.
What's the first thing? Give me the first thing you don't agree with.
I know how people feel about the Brazilians in jiu-jitsu, but not all of them have. I haven't had negative experiences with every Brazilian I've worked with in jiu-jitsu.
Myself included. I mean, I'm not lumping every Brazilian in there, but a majority of them.
There's been a lot of hard experiences, though.
Has been,
yeah,
you know,
I'll say that. And I've seen a lot of things over the years in jiu-jitsu, and I'll also say this is
like guys like Felipe Pena, Felipe Della Monica, Romulo Bahal, Roger Gracie, Braulio Estima, you know, Victor Estima, like those guys are, you know, they're the salts of the earth, especially Felipe Della Monica, man. Like that guy, he comes from a city in Brazil called Belo Horizonte, which means beautiful horizon. It's a city of BH in Brazil. I mean, the people in BH are like the salt of the earth. Like they're just real, genuine, authentic people. And I don't mean to, like, you know, throw all Brazilians under the bus, but a majority of them, especially from, you know, certain parts of Brazil, are scumbags. And that's unfortunate, because that's the, you know, the same reason that, you know, we look at guys like Gordon being like, that's the guy, like, you know, now we're all of a sudden we're going to say, like, you know, all jiu-jitsu guys, that's what every jiu-jitsu guy should look like. No, it's not the case.
Yeah,
And
I think for as lame as some of the athletes, as lame as their approach has been, the jiu-jitsu audience is kind of equally lame as well. Like there's a lot of like lame,
uneducated.
yeah, just real stupid.
But that's not their fault. You know whose fault that is? That's the smorgasbord of rule sets that are presented to everyone, that everyone's like, what, this, what?
It's
Give me
definitely
one universal rule set.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Let it make sense.
I mean, I guess wrestling has folk style and has freestyle.
Well, the submission only was, you know, that was the whole Halleck thing. And then if there's no submission, it's a draw. And there was a revolution about that. But, you know, that's good if there's a reality of combat, if there's a real fight happening.
Yeah.
and it's hard to
two
do.
guys avoiding each other for 45 minutes, and nobody wants to watch that.
Yeah.
That's not fun. And to be honest, is it from like a prize fight? If I'm gonna have two guys build up this fucking storyline, then somebody's got to be the winner. I can't have it at the end where it's a draw. That's like, this is stupid.
Yeah,
you know, somebody's got to fucking win. The problem with that people have, and the problem with the EBI rule set is people fuck around with that and then they end up getting a position
and it's not realistic.
Yeah.
And it's the worst rule set you could ever possibly come up with. Who came up with that again?
Edgy bra, come
Oh
on.
yeah, the guy that I said doesn't know jack shit about jiu-jitsu. I got guys over here like Joe Rogan telling me that Gordon Ryan's the best jiu-jitsu guy. Like, what? And he was saying that after Felipe Pena choked him.
Listen, you can't. Eddie is gonna go down as a legend in jiu-jitsu when it's all said and done with.
I mean, his match with Hoyler is astonishing. But what's more astonishing to me is that a guy that didn't even win the bracket got so much notoriety off just winning just a single match in the bracket.
I think at the time, Hoyler had never been tapped.
No, he's a legend.
Huge ordeal.
Huge match. But you didn't win the tournament, bro.
Listen, I know he lost his next match. To Eddie's credit, he had the foresight to open up a no-gi school and just push that. There were no-gi schools, but there weren't a lot of them.
So he's the problem, is what you're saying.
Oh, you think? Yeah, because he
trained a gi match with Eddie.
Don't you think that the gi is just a training tool? Should it really be the format that you're fighting with? Isn't it an actual weapon?
What belt?
I'm a black belt.
Really?
I got a black belt in the gi, but I'm just saying, like, no, I don't have a black belt from Eddie in the gi. I'm saying, don't you think though that the gi it's a tool?
The gi is everything.
The gi is everything.
If you don't feel the proximity of what the gi shows you, then how can you possibly know closeness? You talk about invisible jiu-jitsu like Hicks and Gracie talks about. You're not getting those subtleties in your no-gi grappling, athleticism and agility based movements, right?
Yeah, but you're not getting that. Like, I understand what you're saying, but if you take that apparatus out, then you're not getting the feedback the same way. It's gone.
What do you mean?
But you're still grappling. Like, you think jiu-jitsu only takes place with a kimono?
No, I think you can. It could be like an MMA fight. There's jiu-jitsu taking place, but what I'm talking about is the proximity that you're experiencing, the leverage, the shifting back and forth, like the style. Yeah, you can see different styles through that closeness, but the gi is teaching you that closeness when you have to pull someone in very close to you to get that push-pull mechanism.
Yeah, but I think you're making my point. The gi is teaching you. It's a training device. But when we get in the cage, we take that strap off and we fucking get after it. We don't have to.
We don't get after it. We're still managing the distance, and that distance is no longer glued.
Sure.
It's wider.
Yes, but what I mean is we no longer have that instrument to use as a guide anymore. We have to be able to do it without that device, right?
Yeah, but
I think it's a hell of a training device.
Yeah, but once you're in it, and once you feel it, and once you go through it, and you take it off, it doesn't leave you. The tool
I
doesn't
agree
leave
with that.
I
agree with
inside of you. If you really know it, if you know it inside and out, like you should know it as a black belt, you should know it. Then it doesn't leave you. When I went and did my fights in MMA, I caught one lucky elbow to this part of my eye that cut me and gave the judges all this thing. But if you look at my fights, it's just like, look at guys like Damian Maia, like they're not absorbing that. Right?
Yeah,
they're not taking the damage.
I feel you. I think that it's a great way to learn jiu-jitsu. I really do. I just don't think it's the only thing that constitutes like this is what jiu-jitsu is. Because the gi didn't even exist up until a certain point.
The reality of combat shows what jiu-jitsu is, but the gi is what gives you that sense of awareness.
Don't you think people were doing submission grappling before Kano introduce the gi as a
I
training?
heard somebody give me an explanation of it once. Not even give me. I heard him give it online about it, and it was in regards to sex. If you're having sex with a condom on, what does it feel like when you take the condom off?
Feels better.
Right. That was his analogy for what the gi does.
So you wait, you wear it so it feels better to fight without it? Is that the idea?
Essentially.
Right. It's a donut that you put on your baseball bat and you swing it in the on deck circle to warm up. But when you go up to the plate, you pop that donut off the bat and you go hit.
How are you going to feel it otherwise? How are you going to feel that dichotomy?
I think you're right in that you do put it on, but I think you don't focus it as your competitive outlet. You focus it as a tool you use to train with. And then when you compete, you take it off for the competition.
But you don't take it off. Like the
what I mean is you don't do the competition with the gi on.
Yeah. So I mean, now look what Hoist did in UFC 1, but that, like I said, again, reality.
That's the hack. If you want guys, like maybe what you do is you get your room up to speed and you have them train gi and no gi.
I tell you what, if you put me and Gordon Ryan in a closed cage and I was wearing a gi and he was wearing no gi, I would destroy him.
Oh wow, you think so?
I even threw him out the same challenge that I threw Gio. I said, listen, you beat me. You win the fight. I will leave jiu-jitsu, leave my black belt in the center mat and never return. You'll never hear from me ever again.
Is this going to be an MMA fight in the cage or
I tried. He doesn't want it. I tried. I put so many things out there, existing content. Him threatening, him
sounds good.
Dude, it was clear as day. I'm like, give me LFA. Give me in. Let's make our own promotion. Let's go the Jake Paul route.
Yeah. Right. Well, dude, I
want to show the difference in what gi and no gi does. And there,
I would like to see
the gi off, but does the gi jiu-jitsu really leave me? No, it doesn't. So
I mean, I still love the gi. I don't have hate for the gi. I love the gi. I just think that.
How many times have you caught yourself in no gi being like, okay, yeah, this is something I picked up from the gi?
All of it, most of it, a high amount of it. I agree. I think it's good.
It's never going to leave you.
And I like that. I think that's how strong the gi is as a training tool.
Yeah, I don't think it's just a tool. I think it's a complete. It's everything. Like I said, it's not. There are consequences of it. Being a uniform and what you feel from that in itself, but the essence of it, the idea of it, even just would you have trained jiu-jitsu if there was no belt?
Boy, probably.
When you first started,
I first started no gi. When my very first.
What made you go to the gi?
Honestly, the group I was training with, like they were really sporadic in their schedule, and there was a school around the corner that was more stable, and they were in the gi. I was so new, I didn't really understand any fundamental differences between it.
Did the idea of achieving a black belt excite you?
It did, but I did not think it was anything near the realm of possibility for me to achieve. It seems so. Yeah,
and then you started doing it.
I did, yeah, and I trained for like 11 years in the gi. Never took.
Hey man, this is actually, I can see myself as a
black belt. Dude, listen, I get
really cool. Because then one day I can go on Inside BJJ and tell Agazarm that I'm a black belt.
Fuck yeah, AJ.
Otherwise, what are you? A professional butt grappler? Like,
yeah, professional butt scooter, man.
Butt scooter.
No, I feel you, dude. I think there's a lot of merit into what you're saying. I'm stoked. Listen, I'm pumped that you're on PGF season 6, dude. I'm happy for Brandon. I want to see red ass fired up AJ Agazarm get out there, and I want to see some retribution at PGF 6. I don't want to see forgiving AJ.
Yeah,
I want to see retribution AJ.
I'm grappling with I'm grappling with it. I'll tell you that. No pun. I mean, I guess
pun intended.
I'm definitely, it's an internal turmoil that I'm having personally of what to do with it. But I know that just having being able to have the platform in PGF to face this is what has excited me to what has drawn me to this, and working with a guy like Brandon and you guys doing the podcast here today. It's just like, it's even more of a a confirmation that I'm in the right place. And I think, this team format is really cool. I like the fact that he does, he values the submission. And if there's no submission, there's no points. You got to understand, like, this is one of the things that made NCAA wrestling so exciting. And I don't understand why the IBJJF doesn't do it. Or, when you have team scores and you have team victories,
it's so much funner, man.
Yeah, but it's how you win, right? So if I'm in the black belt division and I have 2 matches like Kyle Terra had his entire 10 world championships, he gets 15 team points awarded for his black belt. And let's say he won all of those matches by referee's decision, right? He gets 15 team points. And then we'll go into the middle heavyweight category, and you got Shanji Hibero, who had 6 matches. He won every single one of them by submission. You know how many team points he got? The same, 15.
Yeah.
Not only that, if I'm a blue belt and I have 7 matches in my blue belt division and I win all of my matches by submission, you know how many team points I got? 15.
Yeah.
It's still the same. But in wrestling, when you're going in the bracket, you're advancing in the bracket, you're getting bonus points. How you win. You want a
pin, or you got a
point. You want on a technicality, you're getting a half a point. You want on a pin, you're getting your points for advancing in the bracket, and you're getting 6 additional points for getting the pin. You won by tech fall, you're getting 5 points. Right. And then you would see all of these alumni and all these past wrestlers in the sold out arena, 25,000 fans of wrestling that understand what's going on, and they're seeing and they're watching the team score going on, and they see this guy getting pinned. They're like,
yeah.
That's the element that Brandon's bringing back with this. It's just like, okay, you're going to advance. How you advance is going to dictate whether you're in the top 8. And if you're in the top 8, you're now buying for that 20,000.
Yeah. And he's bringing the dual aspect into it as well, with having the teams compete against each other, and the winning team gets to divvy up 100 grand.
Yeah, nobody's getting out alive.
No.
Like, we're testing everyone here. And and that's what is it? 5 guys per team, right?
5 guys per team, 4 coaches. How do you feel about the combine? There's going to be a combine where you guys are going to do some
phenomenal. Can really rattle some brains in that. Like,
it's like, this is just, dude, you get 48 hours to
cover doesn't even want you.
And then so they're going to do the combine. The next day will be the draft, and then the next day the season starts. So
yeah, that's so rad. And he that's a brilliant. I mean, that's really cool, because there's look at the Ultimate Fighter. Look what that did for UFC.
Absolutely.
I mentioned that when we had Brandon.
Everybody in the same room together, and we're looking for that. We're looking for those points. I also wonder, though, if he's gonna have, since let you get the top 8, do the points in the bracket for the top 8
affect the seeding, maybe? So what you're asking? Yeah, I don't know, but I imagine
I don't remember if he touched on that when he was in.
I think they do, because they do rank up the points where the top guys at the top, but I don't know if they go like top point scorer goes against the lowest point scorer. Maybe,
I don't know,
that made it into the final 8 or final 16. I think they're doing final 8. Yeah.
I do have a quick question. Is this? I was thinking about you being in the having some strife about this 50-50. Am I going to have the retribution, or am I going to have the forgiveness? Is this situation one where, whether you're on the same team or not, is this going to be the first in-person interaction you're having with this guy? Is when you guys get to Vegas?
Yeah.
So it's been since the event, whatever that was, to now going to Vegas for the season, and that's the first day in person.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna be there. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm happy for you.
I'm gonna be right behind you, going, "Do it, AJ. Retribution, AJ.
Do it."
Yeah, part of me feels like I definitely, you know, I have that. I still have that in me, and you
Oh,
know,
you have it.
part of me has you know, reconciled that bad boy persona that, you know, got under a lot of people's skin, and called it out for what it was. And I still do that. You'll still see me on the Florida Boy Instagram trolling people, and calling it as it is, because
Saw it
this
earlier
is
today.
this is everything I do, right?
Yeah.
And you know,
Let me ask you real quick, man.
I'm not sorry. Yeah.
Appreciate your time tonight. Before we jump off here, what's your relationship like with Nick Diaz and those guys right now?
Yeah, Nick was the reason why the relationship with Jake kind of, you know, got mended a little bit.
Yeah, I would think so, right? You kind of bump into Jake, I would imagine.
Yeah, I actually just bumped into Jake at the Nogi World Championships, and we stood there and had a conversation for 20 minutes. That doesn't mean I wouldn't instantly take a rematch with him. I definitely would. I'll probably still get under his skin, make him act like an idiot, but.
Yeah,
You know, there's you know, that's not lost. That's for sure not lost. But you know, Nick was a big part of that, and you know, um, yeah, so
that's cool.
thankful to him for
Yeah,
for pulling that.
yeah. Nick Diaz, the
Gave me
peacemaker.
so many codes. That dude gave me and him and his brother Nate gave me so many codes for you know, for the MMA, for the mixed martial arts, and them being black belts, and you know, having that boxing experience, and just having that, you know, do or die attitude.
Yeah,
Kill or be killed, you know how it is. And you know, that taught me a lot. Randy Spence was a huge part of that.
yeah. He's real tough, man. He's
Ernie
kind of like
Reyes
an
Jr.
unsung guy out there, you know.
Yeah, Randy's, you know, he's such a, you know, he's the man. I don't know how else to say it. He's just the man. Dude goes on fishing trips and just
I know he's hunting, driving classic
um,
cars.
then still shows up and teaching the jiu-jitsu class and running it and holding it down like a true OG.
Yeah,
And that taught me a lot about fighting systems. And that's why I wasn't just stuck in this, I'm going to hurry up and I'm going to pull guard and I'm going to sit on my ass and, you know, do leg entanglements or barambolos all day.
yeah.
Like, this is what is this really about? I remember Nate would tell me one time, he's like, why are they going to do all that? Why don't they just fight? It's like, it couldn't be more true. It's just like, why don't you guys just fight?
Yeah,
Settle it for real.
right.
If you're not putting the gi on, you're not doing it for, you know, for the show of what that is. You're gonna do all this no-gi. Like, that's the other thing. It's just like wrestling. You have two guys on their feet that are looking to get the takedown. So there's that. That's their
Yeah.
initial combat right there. It's just two guys trying to take each other down. In jiu-jitsu, you have no idea what's gonna happen, and there's no making sense of it. And then this guy's on his butt, and eventually he's like, you know, it's all confusing. But you know, I know how to make it very straightforward. Just get in a ring and fight.
What do you think about combat jiu-jitsu?
I don't like that there's no kicks.
Not enough combat.
Yeah.
That's called fighting then, right? I mean, that's pretty much
why are we going to eliminate kicks? That's a slap in the face to, you know, the kicking arts.
Taekwondo's pissed.
Yeah, Ernie Reyes Jr. taught me so much about footwork and kicking, and I'm just like, oh my God, like my mind was blown on
Yeah, man.
just his approach to it, and then being able to add, and you know, I don't know if you ever saw the fight that I had with Adele at the Forum for Bellator. It was like, I think it was like my fourth MMA fight. I mean, this guy was a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but also a black belt in Taekwondo. And, you know, I had my hands full. He was throwing kicks left and right, doing all kinds of stuff. And I had like 6 months of kicking training with Ernie Reyes Jr.
Yeah.
I was doing my best to get caught up to speed. And, you know, I think that if I hadn't had spent the time that I spent with Randy and the Diaz brothers and Richard Perez, that my approach to that fight would have been completely different and the outcome would have been completely different. If you look at that fight, I forced that guy to shoot on me, right?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
I boxed him and made him shoot on me, which gift wrapped that Agazarm, the finish that I had with, the submission. And, I think about like what that meant for me and how, that sense of victory was important, but how I feel bad. Like there's a level of shame for a lot of these jiu-jitsu guys out here will never be able to experience that.
Yeah. I mean, jiu-jitsu is like, I get it in a very pure way. It's supposed to be for fighting.
That's what it's for.
But it's not really now. It's for all kinds of other things.
It still is. It's just that we're continuing to give platform these guys that are not faced with the reality of combat. And that's my job, is to be the giver of reality. You guys keep calling me a heel. I'm the hero.
You're the hero heel. You're the heel face. That's what you need to get to. That's the ultimate. Yeah. Well, dude, thanks for coming on, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you on season 6. Big things coming out of the PGF. It's nice catching up with you, man. I did not know the Flograppling info. I really didn't, and I always love talking about the Stockton boys. I'm from Stockton, so
yeah, 209 number. I got that.
Yeah, much love from Stockton. Yeah, I the Stockton Jiu-Jitsu scene is like one of those areas where everybody used to train together. Everybody was under Caesar at some point, and then you know how Jiu-Jitsu's like divides on itself and then divides on itself, and
yeah, now everyone's under Randy. Randy holds it down, man. He'd be getting guys, and I remember when I first went there, I'd be like looking at these purple belts, blue belts, that would be working me on a base bar, and I'm like, and Randy just over there being in the corner laughing.
Yeah,
but he holds it down for the reality combat, and I think that's kind of where my passion and desire to
I get you.
Yeah, is important.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a place for that, man. That's for sure. Well, dude, thanks for the chat, man. I look forward to seeing you soon out in Vegas, dude.
Right on, guys.
All right, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good one.
Omar,
thanks,
take it easy. Thank you.
All right, bro. AJ Agazarm, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. Man, that was dope, dude. It was good to have AJ.
Absolutely. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Man, that guy is deep in the jiu-jitsu world.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah.
I just booted him from the studio. I didn't know he was so involved with Flograppling.
I had no idea.
God damn. Though here's the thing, man. I like AJ, but he says some crazy shit. It's like, fuck, dude. Like, listen, bro. But he came back on. He's trying to get back in. I will say this. I really appreciate just the openness and being honest and saying what he feels and talking about what he thinks. I think that's the fucking way, dude. I think that's the way to do it. There's a lot of fakers and a lot of bullshitters and a lot of people that are just saying whatever they think people want to hear to get famous.
There's a lot of people being influencers pretending they do jiu-jitsu.
There's a lot of that.
Nobody says what they think.
Yeah. At least like if you're going to do it, say what you fucking think, man.
Yeah.
Put yourself out there and deal with that. And that's one thing that I do appreciate about him. Obviously I don't share the same views he has on everything, but still interesting to hear. I'm stoked for PGF, dude. The other guys on the show so far that have been confirmed, there's only 2 other guys. That's Elijah Carlton, who we were gonna have on tonight. And then Majid Haig, who is Gorilla Hands is his nickname.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a real fucking stud. IBJJF.
I think AJ is going to be a great addition to the roster. Like,
it's going to be very
for sure. Man.
You need 1 or 2 guys like that who can just really stir it up.
Plus, then I mean, along with his jiu-jitsu, like, it's going to be great.
I agree with you.
I'm excited to watch.
I'm really stoked to see it.
It's going to be a lot of fun. That whole week is going to be chaos. In a great way.
I'm really stoked. I can't wait. I can't
believe every time I say that I can't wait. I'm picturing myself.
I can't wait for you to watch me.
I'm going to be glued to my phone, wishing that you had a +1 personal assistant.
Brandon was like,
package.
Don't bring anybody.
Specifically that dude.
Well, he's like, I got a place for you to stay, and what that basically means is they're just going to throw me in some fucking whatever, wherever it's
Some
open.
corners.
Yeah.
A closet you could finally come out of.
Yeah. I'm hoping I get to stay at like Zoltan's house.
The castle.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, come sleep in me bed. I'm going to sleep in the spare. I'm like, yeah, he gave me the master.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
No,
Yeah.
I know, but that would be fucking
If I
cool.
remember correctly, Zoltan has a very lovely missus that probably.
Well,
won't
I'm not
have
saying that. I'm not trying to.
No, for sure.
That.
I'm just saying, like, he's probably gonna want to be in his own bed.
I'm gonna be like, look, you're gonna have to give me your band too. I wrote some songs I want you to hear, man. Oh, how cringe would that be? I wrote some songs be perfect for 5 Finger Death Punch. Can I play them for you?
How to not be invited to PGF?
Yeah, I'm all reading lyrics.
In one easy step.
Bad lyrics. I work McCaffrey into the lyrics.
He would just tell Brandon, like,
who's
that guy Tim that you invited?
Don't bring him over again.
Yeah,
he's out.
He's out. Not that guy.
He's out. Dude, well, we went pretty late, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah.
We were gonna do some bullshit stuff, but we'll catch up those segments in the future, man.
Cool.
Good times. Thank you
that
guys.
was a great interview with AJ.
Absolutely.
That was awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It was really cool to talk to
I
him.
think it was good, man. I'd like that guy a lot, dude.
Yeah.
He's wild.
I mean, I just like stirring the pot too. Like that's what we're doing. So anyway, hey, thanks for listening. Make sure you check out our sponsors. BJJ Everyday, Cultist Apparel on Instagram, 10th Planet Nashville, 10th Planet Stockton, Guardian. Do your thing. You know where to find us. Okay, that's it. I gotta. Yeah, you got the music on this one, dog. Bitch, you. Oh, you got it.